Etsy news. Is Etsy giving us free money and free tags? Maybe, but probably not. Let's find out more in today's Etsy news. So the first thing, yeah, I always expect Etsy to do a little thing prior to a quarterly report, and the summer they're usually dropping more things. Now we know investors want to see more money from Etsy. So has Etsy come up with a different money making scheme? Printify let us know that Etsy's recently introduced a policy that includes new fees related to how often order data is accessed. So this kind of means that Etsy is potentially charging third-party apps for API access. This is something that I believe has been free up until now. So, yes, this might mean some of your apps that you use to make your Etsy journey more useful are either going to become more expensive or they'll have to find other ways to work around. Let me know what you think of this. I mean, yes, we know Etsy needs to make more money to make those shareholders happy, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that does. Just thought it was an interesting one. Here's a new feature. Sadly, it's only for the paid plan of Etsy. Everyone can view this from your dashboard on Etsy. If you go into the little pencil icon to edit your shop, so beside your shop name there's a little pencil icon, and you get to see a color theme picker, and this is based from the colors of your banner and your logo. So if you want to get different colors, you might have to change your banner just for funsies, but it gives you a choice of colors, and everybody's choice is different because it's personalized to them. And what that's going to mean is that area below your banner where your shop name is, which Etsy's been playing about with the layout of what you're seeing there. Quite a lot of time your little shop headline is now missing, but anyway, that's a different thing. But so the color you pick is going to be shown there and in your about section. So have a play about and see what looks best. For funsies, I tried the bright pink it offered me, which looked good because it goes with my font, but in the about section it looked terrible. So yeah, have a play about, see what works for your branding. I think it's nice that they're offering us more customization. I suppose it's a thing to encourage people to want to sign up for the paid plans, because they never, what's it, Etsy Plus, it never really took off like it was supposed to. They never really offered us half of the things that they said they were going to. So now a little more customization in your shop. It's a good start, actually. I was going to complain and say all the things they could be giving us. Yes, more ability to pick colours would be cool, but we can probably force it by changing our banner. Just put up a banner of all your brand colours. See if you can change the banner to, not the banner, change your headline there to the colour that you want, and then change your banner back. You'll see if that works. It would be nice if you could pick different colours, but this is a first step. Hopefully, if we like it, if enough people are positive, sadly, if enough people sign up for the paid plans with it, then Etsy might give us even more functionality. Yeah, some people joked and said, rather like MySpace. I don't know what functionality they'll give us, but it is nice because there has been points in time where these bits have been bright, glowing Etsy orange or a lilac color that Etsy's chosen, which is nice for Etsy's branding. However, it might look terrible with your shop. Like bright orange did not work for me. So Etsy, is this Etsy? Sort of. I'm not entirely sure. But in your tags section, when you're editing a listing, we're now getting a drop down of some suggested tags potentially. These seem to be things that we've typed in before, because mine looked quite good, but then a friend of mine, she went in there and her options were a little bit less good, and these were things she'd copied and pasted into the tag bar and then added edited, so not so helpful for her, but it's an interesting thing. Again, I'm not sure if it's Etsy or if it's your browser, because when I went into a different browser, there were no options until I typed in and added some tags. But hey, it can be handy. Definitely, I used it without even realizing. Someone said to me this morning, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "What's this?" And then I looked, "Oh yeah, the other day I was making a listing, and I needed to add a new tag. And when I clicked on this, that popped up, and I thought, oh right, bookish gifts, really easy." So I think it's handy. Obviously, for, what I'm going to say is, for those last tags, you're working on your SEO, you're figuring out your first few superstar keywords. When you've got through to the end and, well, like, what other tags should I add in there? It can be handy. Pick the ones that are relevant. I don't think there's any intelligence gone into it. It's just showing stuff you've typed in before. But that can be handy. As I say, I looked on, oh, bookish gifts, good idea. So yeah, let me know what you think. There's a new newsletter out as of yesterday, so interesting things. It's showing, well, this Juliet of Bilgaby. Why do I keep trying to say things I can't? So they're spotlighting a seller, and there's some new webinars coming out. So behind the launch, how product drop comes together, and she's given you some insights for tips for planning a successful drop and some questions. So if that's something you're interested in, you can sign up for the webinar and see what's going on there. Other events from the newsletter, we've got the date of the next Etsy up. I'm still going to watch it, these things, whether they're handy or not. There could be some nuggets of information. 2 years ago, it was kind of helpful, although they said contradictory advice. Last year, they basically just read out of the articles that they've already published. So fair enough. We'll see what's happening. There's also a live Q&A about Etsy payments and shop finances. I feel sorry for that guy, because I think that's going to be a nasty Q&A. People will be angry. People are always angry talking about money. So it looks like he's got a nice smiley face just now. Bless your heart, you're going to have a hard time. And then, of course, the Etsy SEO thing, you can watch a replay of it. Is it worth it? I watched it and nearly fell asleep. Okay, so are Etsy giving us free money? The last chance to apply for the 2025 Makers Future Fund. The Nest Makers Future Fund is back. We've partnered with Nest to offer grants, mentorship, and financial training to eligible creative makers like you. Applications are open to July the 4th. So I dug into it a little bit more. Is this free money? So through the Makers Future Fund, selected makers will participate in intensive coaching. That's good, depending on who the coaches are. I think intensive coaching could be good for people just starting out, but that's not what it's going to be. Wait and see. Financial readiness training. Again, depends who that is. Skipping ahead, it's only US based. So if it's teaching people about what their tax obligations are and all that specifically for the US by experts in that, it could be handy, and will receive a $5,000 business boost grant. Now, I don't think anybody would turn their nose up at a $5,000 grant. Depends how it's given and why it's given, but if there are any stipulations on how to use it. But anyway, US based craft businesses are eligible, and applications open till July the 14th. So I pulled up some more things. It's a little more, as you would expect. Here's what to be eligible. So must be located and producing their handcraft products in the US, must use a US bank account for managing their business. So it's absolutely US only. The business type, applicants' businesses must make handcrafted products, i.e., the products must be predominantly made by hand using techniques that involve direct manual effort and craftsmanship. That is interesting wording, isn't it? Examples of eligible products include, but are not limited to, textile, ceramics, jewelry, woodwork, small batch personal care products, etc. So, sort of the kind of people they wanted on Etsy in the first place. But why are you excluding all the people that you're allowing to sell on Etsy? That's an interesting one. Not saying whether I agree or disagree with the other things should be allowed to sell on Etsy, but it is weird. While the use of hand tools and electric hand tools are permitted, heat mold presses, sewing machines, die cutting machines, etc. Here's the interesting bit. Items produced using industrial machinery or 3D printers are not eligible. That's interesting because sewing machines can be very automated. Knitting machines, when I say very automated, my mum has a attachment on her knitting machine that you can set it off and it creates things. It does the knitting slowly overnight and gives you dreams that there are praying mantises because it goes all night long. So I don't see the difference. All of them actually take a lot of work. 3D printers are not phone it in. There's a lot of work to set them up and get them working and finagle it. So I don't know why they're hating on 3D printers, but anyway, it should be the type of files that are used in the 3D printers. Are people creating them, editing them? Are they doing more to them? Because the Etsy rules are it can't be just you buy a file and print it out. You have to have had some input in making the file. But Etsy's rules. So the program commitment, have at least one senior team member who can participate through the program, be able to dedicate 3 to 5 hours per week for the program, be available for a weekly live Q&A session held 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern every Thursday from August to October. So there's mentoring, that's kind of good. There's a live Q&A for everybody in the team and 3 to 5 hours a week mentoring. Now, this again sounds good for a really new shop owner, but then when they say at least one senior team member, and then financial readiness, be willing and able to share basic accounting records for the past 12 months, if selected. That's a lot. Because at the end of the day, Etsy knows about your sales. And if this is a very new seller, then they probably need Etsy help to be able to understand how to do basic accounting. But here we go. Must report more than 15,000 or more in annual revenue for 2024. So the vast majority of Etsy shops are not eligible for this. The new people that would really benefit from this. So, and yeah, able to share how the $5,000 grant will be utilized for business needs and growth. So you have to have a kind of business plan. So I was excited with this because I thought it would help a small Etsy seller grow. But what they're talking about is a large handmade Etsy shop. They're saying handmade, but then one senior team member. So they're not talking about your granny doing knitting or, someone. They want a large and with $15,000 a year in sales, which doesn't sound a lot to a lot of people, but it's more than it's well over what the average shop's making. Well, that's more than 10 times what the average annual in GMS if you divide it by all the sellers on Etsy. So you're in the top of Etsy sellers. So they're looking for people who already know what they're doing, potentially a shop that's growing. So basically, it doesn't matter how good the mentorship is because the people already know what they're doing. So there's a very good chance that the people who are given the money are already in a shop that's going to do well. So Eatsy's going to be able to stand up and say, look, this shop doubled its money with this $5,000 grant. Is that just me being, I think that's me being cynical a little bit. Hey, free money's good money, but I don't think it's helping the people that really need helping. I get why that, like, if you pick a little guy who's not made any sales yet, they might have never been the kind of people that were going to put the effort into building a shop. But if you pick people who already are properly business focused, how much are you helping them? I'm being cynical, haven't I? Anyway, let me know what you think. That's just my thoughts. And yeah, so if you see anything, as always, let me know. If I've missed anything, I always have. It's always good to hear what's going on. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.